Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Stitch and Style by me, Nadia. And today I have got two recent makes to share with you, and I've also got a few other little things to catch you up on, which I will do at the end. And first of all, let me share what I'm wearing. So this is my Donny shirt by Friday Pattern Company in a lovely double gauze fabric that I got from First for Fabrics. And yeah, I'm just wearing it today with my bob pants and a pair of sandals. Oh, and I've got my lovely earrings on from Sapphire Frills. Let me share with you my first make, which was the Durbin jumpsuit by Megan Nielsen. Now, I hadn't been aware of this pattern until I saw it last year at my jeans making workshop. No, that was earlier this year. Actually, it might have been So Brum I saw it, and one of the people that were working in the shop at Guthrie and Garney was wearing this jumpsuit in a light blue fabric, and ever since then I've been dying to make it. I decided to make it in this red fabric, which is a fabric that I got. I did subscribe, I think for 3 months, to Little Miss So-and-so's Luxurious box. Now, I'm not getting the fabrics. I thought I have to use some of the fabrics that I've got in those boxes before I get any more. So this was one of the fabrics that I chose as part of my subscription service, and it's a lovely Lady McElroy, and it's a linen viscose, and it has also got a tiny little bit of stretch in it. You can see that it's a little bit crinkled, sorry. It is actually coming up a little bit brighter on the camera than it is in real life. It's not quite as bright, but it is kind of a true red. Now, red for me, I have to really pick the right red for it to go with my colouring, I think, because I think I'm a cool colouring. So if it's got too much yellow in the red, then I don't feel like I suit it. But if it's got a little bit more of a blue tone to it, I think I suit that a little bit more. So yeah, I do feel like I suit this, although I have made it sleeveless and I would probably always wear it with a top underneath. So let me show you the line drawings of the pattern. So I really feel like you get quite a few good options with this one. So we've got short sleeves and tapered leg, sleeveless with the flared leg. It's not flared, what is it called? Wide leg, sorry. With the wide leg. You've got a romper, and that's got the belt with the D-rings. You've got sleeveless romper with the patch pockets on the front, and then on this one you've got long sleeves and I think 3/4 sleeve. Oh no, that's just rolled up. Long sleeved with the patch pocket on the front, tapered leg, round neck and a tie belt. Oh yeah, you also get the V-neck option. And it comes in regular length and tall length as well. So there's just so many options with this jumpsuit. And I wanted to go for my first version for this kind of look. I went for the round neck. I've done the wide leg trousers and sleeveless, but I also did the D-ring belt from the romper. And it does tell you what pattern pieces you need in order to make the different versions, because there are a lot of pages to stick together if you print it all. I have printed it all because I do want to try some of the different versions. So I've not pieced them all together yet, but have printed out all of the options. And it says it comes in, I think there might be 2 size bands with this. This one that I've got is 0 to 20, and I think they do another size band, and I'll put the details just along here now. They also say it's skill 3 out of 5, and I probably would agree with that. So in terms of sizing, the size 12 is 38-inch bust, waist 30-inch, and that's about me. And for the hip, the size 14, which is a 42. So I knew I would need to grade to the size 14 for my hip, but also because I am dressmaker's A.5 cup, I tend to need a little bit of extra room between my shoulders and across my back. So I did grade up to the size 14 just from underneath the arms, so then the armhole and all of the top above my bust was at a size 14. Now I'm not sure I needed to do that, but I just think I do have a little bit of extra room at the bust, and I probably should have done a small bust adjustment just to make sure that I've not got that excess around my bust. I think I was right to grade to the size 14 underneath the arms, but yeah, I think in future I would do a small bust adjustment just to take a little bit of the extra room out along at the bust. The bust darts do point at the right place, which I'm happy about. Now I did make quite a few other adjustments to the jumpsuit. This really, even though it's a really beautiful fabric, it was a little bit of a practice for the fitting. I just made the measurements that I thought I would need to make to the pattern. Now I have made the Megan Nielsen Dawn jeans before, so I did have something to kind of refer to as to what adjustments I might need to make to the pattern. I'll read out the list of adjustments that I made. So in terms of length, because I'm 5'8½", I do often need to add length, especially to the waist, because I do have a long waist. So I added 2.5 centimetres to the length of the bodice, and I added 3 centimetres to the rise of the trousers. I also did a full seat adjustment of 2.5 centimetres, and I did a sway back adjustment where I took off 1.5 centimetres out of the centre back waist seam. And I did cut the longer length trousers. Yeah, so I didn't want to take out too much of a sway back adjustment. I do normally have to make a sway back adjustment, but I thought because I've got a waist seam there, I can always take out more if needed. And actually I don't feel like I need to take out any more. So this fabric was absolutely lovely to work with. I chose some little wooden buttons that match the fabric really nicely. So this fabric was absolutely lovely to sew. I really enjoyed sewing with it. I was a little bit nervous about the little bit of stretch to the fabric because I've never worked with a stretch woven before, but actually I was a little bit worried about things like stretching out of shape and things, but that didn't really happen at all. So I was very happy with it. I think you do have to be a little bit careful with that bit of stretch in the fabric, and I think that gives it a little bit of leeway with the fitting, doesn't it? Although I don't feel like they're tight in any way. Now the instructions were really good. I was able to follow them all fine. You do have to be careful with top stitching here. I did just zigzag the edges here rather than tuck them under and top stitch them down. I wasn't sure actually what it told you to do, but I just went with a quick and easier finish on it. At this point I didn't have use of my overlocker, so I wasn't able to overlock anything in here. So the only point that I really found quite tricky was to do this point on the bottom of the placket. that was pretty hard to get it nice and symmetrical. As you can see there, it's not looking very symmetrical at all, and I made a bit of a bodge job on it, and I decided to put another row of stitching just above it, just for some extra stability and to make it look a little bit more even. It's probably not worked, but yeah, I feel like I could have done with another go at that, just to yeah, perfect it. I've just never done that technique before, so yeah, I think next time I do it, hopefully I would do it better. But I think it looks fine. You can't, unless you're really looking, you can't see that it's not completely symmetrical. And I don't mind that I've got 2 lines of stitching there. It just doesn't really concern me at all. So then, yeah, as I said, I did the waistband, which is quite nice and wide, and I put the D-rings in it. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. That's got a belt with a point on the end, and I think I've done that nicely. And I just think it's a lovely wearable jumpsuit, and I definitely want to make some more of these. Oh, the other thing is I did cut out the pockets, but I didn't put them on the front. I decided to put the pockets, oh, you can't really see anything. It just looks red. Yeah, I just decided to put the pockets on the back. I just think that style-wise, I think that probably looks better on me. Overall, love the make, really happy with it. So that was very successful. The next make I want to share with you is the Helena wrap dress by Just Patterns, and this is a lovely pattern that I've been wanting to make for a while. Actually, I bought the pattern when it was released, so it looks like it was released in the summer of 2021, so I've had this pattern for all that time, and just been waiting for the right time to make it. I think this qualifies for an entry for the challenge that's being run by Bianca at B Silver Creates, and she's raising awareness about blood pressure and also raising money. Yeah, she's shared a bit of her personal story with us in a recent vlog, and I'm really keen to support her challenge and to get involved. And if you've got something that you've been putting off for a while, then please do consider getting it done and supporting this very worthy cause. I have made my donation. I've not made my post yet. I've not actually photographed this dress. I'm actually hoping to wear this dress tomorrow when I go into the office, so hopefully I'll get a few snaps of it before then. And this was also one of the fabrics that I got in the Little Miss So and So subscription box. So out of the 3 fabrics that I got, I've actually made up 2 of them this month, which is very good going. So when I got this fabric, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. Now it is quite a thick fabric, quite structured, so I knew I would have to be careful about the pattern that I chose for this fabric. I feel like the Helena dress really can suit a more structured fabric. Again, as this wasn't a pattern that I'd made before, I'd not twirled the pattern, so I wasn't sure how it was going to come out, but actually I am really happy with the end result. I did do a little bit of comparison of the pattern pieces against my body, just to try and work out what adjustments I might need to make. And because this was a wrap dress, it doesn't have shorten and lengthen lines, because if you wanted to shorten or lengthen the bodice, it's not just a case of adding extra material in, because it affects the whole of the construction of the pattern. So that did cause a little bit of an issue later down the line, which I will just get onto in a moment, but I'll tell you that I actually lengthened the bodice pieces by 4 centimetres, just because I wanted it to hit on my natural waist, and because I'm long-waisted I really did need that extra length. And I also added 3.5 centimetres to the length of the skirt as well. It is supposed to be midi, and I just wanted to keep it at kind of a midi length. So I think the 4 centimetres I added to the bodice and the 3.5 centimetres I added to the bottom of the skirt. If you take that away from my height, it actually equals the height it was drafted for. So in terms of sizing, I actually went for a straight size 44. I didn't do any grading for the waist, even though my waist I think is slightly smaller. So yeah, this is a Dashwood Studios, and I think on the Minerva website they call it a broadcloth. So yeah, it does have plenty of structure. And you can, with this dress, you can either choose to do patch pockets on the front or side seam pockets, and I went for the side seam pockets. And it's got this lovely like shape to the waistband that comes up, and then like a curved shape that comes back down. So I did think that's very like unique and different and very beautiful, I think. Now it did get you to interface quite a lot of the pieces. And I don't think that was necessary in every case. Now, one of the places it told you to fully interface was this cuff piece for the sleeve, and when I did it, I just felt that the interfacing made the cuff piece a little bit too thick and stiff. So I decided to remove the cuff pieces and take out the interfacing, and then I put the new cuff back on, and I think that works much better. I also did the same thing with the waist ties here. Now this part is interfaced, but this part that wraps around, I really didn't feel like that needed interfacing, and it was interfaced on both sides, so it was quite stiff. So yeah, I just removed the interfacing from that as well. Now I wasn't actually using very good quality interfacing for this make. Yeah, it was a bit of a cheaper interfacing, so maybe that was the issue. I also did have a little bit of a drama when I was unpicking one point where I'd made a little bit of an error, and I made a hole in the skirt piece. Now, fortunately, it wasn't the side that's at the front when you wrap it round. It's on the side at the back when you wrap it round. So nobody will ever see this. So I'm not bothered about it at all in the slightest. I did pop some interfacing on there, and just did a little bit of a small zigzag over the hole, just so it doesn't fray or anything. And it's there, you probably can see it. Yeah, so I'd done some unpicking, and yeah, that was the result. I made a hole in it. Eek. But it all turned out fine in the end. And it's not really something that's in my usual style. I think it's like pushing myself a little bit out of my comfort zone with this, but I'm really happy with it. And I tried it on with my husband, and he really liked the dress as well. And I think for a work dress, I think this in the summer, this will be really nice. Obviously you've got air conditioning in the office, so I'm always a little bit chilly, but I think it's a nice breezy kind of dress to wear. I don't have to wear tights with it or anything, and it's short sleeve without being sleeveless, so that's always nice in the office. Now, I did find the construction of this dress a little bit challenging in places, but it did all come together really nicely. I love these little pleats that you've got in the front of the dress. They make a really nice shape, and I think the 44 actually fits very well. Yeah, so I did find the construction a little bit tricky. I was scratching my head quite a lot when it came to putting the waistband on, and I just could not work out which way it went on and how to do it, and I was looking at it and looking at it before I decided how to do it. The other thing that I did was I put in the side seam pockets, which are attached to the waistband. So you've got to bear in mind that you've got an interface waistband, a pocket piece and a gathered skirt all to attach together. So that is quite bulky. Now there was no problem, but what I decided to do, which the pattern, I don't think it tells you to do this, but I found this with another make, is to just put your gathering stitches in the actual skirt piece and not also in the pocket piece. I find that works much better. It's much easier then to gather up the skirt and pin it to the pocket piece and then pin it to the waistband, because you only need to gather the outer skirt piece, and that worked well. Now, and this little slit that you've got in the side, you know, for putting your waist tie through when you've wrapped it round, I found that was a little bit of tricky construction, and I'd probably not ironed it right, because yeah, it took me a while to get that all lined up and sewn into place. And the other thing that I did with the waistband construction is you are supposed to fold this under and top stitch it from the outside, but I always have a real problem doing that. I find it's sometimes just so tricky to be able to catch the inside and the outside when you can't see what you're doing. So I just decided to overlock this inner one and then top stitch it from the outside. And you can see I've not stitched in the ditch, I've just kind of done it a little bit above, and I've tried to keep that equal all the way around, and I think it looks quite good from the outside. So yeah, a couple of little errors that I made, but they're not visible from the outside, and a little bit of changing to the technique just to make it just that little bit easier. But I am absolutely delighted with this dress, and I do actually want to make another one. I would like to make one in a black fabric. I think it would just look so cool in just plain black fabric, and just so wearable. So yeah, that's my Helena dress, or Helena dress. So I recorded that earlier today, and I realised that I forgot to go back to what I was going to say about lengthening the bodice. So here's the bodice piece. Now this is the sleeve and this is the waistband here. I added quite a bit onto the bodice, so when I went to attach the sleeve band was too short to fit the sleeve opening that I had, and what I had to do was reshape this bit here. There was a nice little curve out here for the sleeve, for the shape of the sleeve, but what I had to do was to reshape it and take the bodice up higher, so then the sleeve band would fit the sleeve opening, if you understand what I mean. But I'm actually pleased that I kept some length here and just fitted the sleeve to the original sleeve band rather than lengthening it, because I think that the sleeve is actually wide enough as it is. Now there's not a nice shape here where there's not really a curve round where the sleeve is. So what I would do with the pattern piece in future is just to redraft it and to maybe just make the sleeve band just a tiny bit longer and make more of a curve in the bodice where it goes from the bodice piece to the end of the sleeve. So those are the two makes that I wanted to show you. Now I did say that I was going to have my nephews over, and yeah, we had a really fun day together, and I taught them some sewing. They used the sewing machine and the overlocker, and they absolutely amazed me at what they could do. And the eldest made his full t-shirt from start to finish. He even hemmed it and everything. Now we made the Anything But Basic tee by DIBY Club, and it was perfect fit. The only thing is he struggled to get it on over his head, He's 10 and we made the size 10, and I think it was 10 to 11. So I cut off the neckband and redid the neckband. Obviously I'd taken off, say, nearly a centimetre all the way round. So yeah, it was just that little bit wider all the way around, and I put on the new neckband and it fitted much better. But I did that for him. So yeah, I think it was a very long session for him to maintain concentration for all that time, to learn the new skills and to do it all. And we did it all on the sewing machine first before we put it through the overlocker, because I was afraid of overlocking it. And I was teaching him how to match up the seams underneath the arms and everything. But he did such a brilliant job. He should be really proud of himself. And I've got a little clip of him using the sewing machine, and he's using it all by himself. As you can see, we've got a walking foot on here. And yeah, he really enjoyed his time learning how to sew, and he's very excited. His mum said that he wore the t-shirt the next day, and yeah, and his brother also had a little go on the sewing machine in the overlocker, and he really enjoyed it as well. So yeah, they just absolutely amazed me. I didn't get a picture of him in his final t-shirt, which was a shame, but supervising small children was taking up all my attention, and I just completely forgot about getting a photo of him in it. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to update you on was my sewing social, and now I've booked the room, and it's booked for the 22nd of July, and that's going to be the first date of my sewing social, and I'm really hoping that I can make it a really nice day for people who want to come along. And if you're interested, please do get in touch. I'd love to have you along to my sewing social if you're close to Manchester. So I think that's everything I had to update you on. I really appreciate you watching, and I love hearing from you in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate all your likes and subscribes and everything. And actually, I did notice the other day that I was getting very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, I think I'm only 6 away or something at the moment, which is very exciting. And I'd like to thank everybody who's subscribed to my channel, and maybe next vlog I'll have to do a little celebration if I've hit 1,000 subscribers. It is kind of a big achievement for me, and I'm so grateful for everybody who's subscribed to my channel. So I will see you next time, hopefully with some makes. Hopefully with a sew free to make. So I will see you next time. Bye.